we can cover a little bit more information right now with respect to some of the practicalities. And that is, as you all know as an instructor, and as we just heard with Canvas too, planning, and then plan a little bit more. Because I have found, and I'm sure those that have taught Maymester in the past will testify, again, it's really not 3 weeks. It's 12 days when you really look at contact time. And I always say to the students on the first day too, okay, folks, just take that deep breath, and you're going to get another one in about 12 days. And then, literally, as you saw in Shelby's resources, it's a few weeks later that grades are due. So it really is wham, bam. And so how can I just get good to go, like with the modules, and then let it flow? We're going to do a little bit of work this morning on looking at your learning objectives. And I think that will be very helpful to you, too, later this afternoon when we get into Kenny's discussion on assessment. So what I'd like to take a look at for a couple moments here is, again, those learning objectives. I'm not getting right into the syllabus in your packet, your instructional packet yet, because I'd like you all just to step back for a moment. That class isn't happening for a couple months, and you know your class, you know it well. Some of you brought laptops, or you can even take a look at it. One of the little strategies that I have typically used is something like this one down here, where I know some people like PowerPoint, some overdo it, some are more the Prezi people, and but like Mike was saying earlier and Storm was saying, where to kind of tuck in your to-do list, what to do. I sometimes tuck in for my to-do list right there on the PowerPoint slide to both remind the students of what is the experiential learning. Remember Kolb's model, that it's the mix of those 4 different components. So what am I delivering, but how am I always trying to think about it being reflective and it being experiential? That really, a diagnostic teaching cycle, that it has all of that in there. And so again, what I'm trying to do is prepare and share some content while also modeling that content. And we all know, and especially I know that there are several faculty here in CLAS and the different programs that all across campus that have really been giving some very serious attention to your learning objectives. We know that if not reached, those learning objectives, it's going to impact things negatively. It's going to impact the ability of students to continue on in the program. How does your class apply to others? It may very well, that trip to Italy, that sounds so wonderful, but if not done well and they're not reaching their outcomes, their professional preparation, really it will affect those things. Their ability to do well on professional exams or certifications. How is your class, as I said from the clip we heard earlier, how are you that twig in the river passing by? Your class. And of course their confidence in as emerging professionals. And so with that, bottom line, it's the make or break stuff that we want out of this class. All right, so again, strengthening those learning objectives. What about that course packet stuff? When we said that the deadline was May 1 to have your course packet done, here's course packet. And so that course packet information obviously is your syllabus. And so in terms of that course packet, some of these are probably maybe very much in your syllabus, but for example, your class meeting agendas, it should be a schedule in there. What's happening? What are the reminders? detailed assessed and non-assessed activity descriptions with those assessment tools. And again, you'll hear some ideas of that this afternoon. Strategies for success. I went ahead and I want to explain one that I included in your packet. Most students, well, not most, maybe some, will be unfamiliar with that accelerated course format. Is there anything else you can do, strategies you can suggest to help them be successful in your course? And if so, please put that in your course packet. And I'll say I would like to provide you with just a couple examples. One that I would do is to actually send them an email a couple weeks beforehand. So the first, second, I see some nods here from Russ, but if it's Maymester, then early May. Hi, I'm your instructor, and I actually would give them those deadlines right there. So I put in something about, hi, this is me. It starts on this time at this date. Given the intense nature of this course, this 12 days is equivalent to 15 weeks. Attendance is mandatory. Grades will be posted, just a couple of those. I also tend to provide them with a couple of the readings right there. Because in those intense courses, it's like class starts and this much of the readings is due the next day, kind of thing. So I will send access to advanced readings. I will let them know what the textbook is, that it is in the bookstore already, but here it is on Amazon if you want another price, and so forth. But what I try to show students is, hey, look, here's the course description. This is the class. This is what's been approved. And then you will see I actually provide them with, in my case, because I'm a certificate program, teacher stuff, I went back to my professional standards and said, here is one, I think I have 4 learning objectives, but one of the learning objectives in my course was, at the end of that course, students will be able to critically analyze a current problem of practice and articulate a cogent professional stance. That's what I want our teachers to do today. And so those down there in the table, those are the actual professional standards out in my field that apply to it. Okay? And so I'm looking at just one objective right now. Then I wanted to demonstrate in that next section what I wanted them to do that would demonstrate they were able to meet that objective. Well, they're going to do it in multiple ways. There was a professional stance paper, there was a grant, there was an evidence-based innovation project, and so forth. Just one of the ways they were going to demonstrate that was something that I called an extension and application. So in my class, I did not take attendance in terms of counting it. Now, I paid attention and I checked it off. Didn't use the app. I'm going to use that app store. But what I would do is I would have an activity at the beginning of each class that was about the readings. And so... it was something like 2 points or 3. It was almost nothing. But, oh, Lord, if I don't get all my points, it was a motivator. And that's all it was. And so what I did, as you will see on the following 2 sheets there, is this just gives you an idea of last Maymester of the different sessions. You'll see there were, 11 of them. I didn't have an extension activity in every session. I think there's 12 sessions. But in 11 of the sessions, you will see that what is the topic that we were covering, what was the reading, and then how was I assessing it before they even came to class, and then in the next column, how were they being assessed actually during class. So you'll see that I highlighted one of the rows, the second row down. Everyone with me? on that one, and that's actually an article called The Sustainability of Inclusive School Reform. And so what I did is that when they came to class, you will see a little thing called the circle map activity, and I included that one for you on the very back of the handout. And so this is one of those little extension activities. So you'll see they come into class, they've read that article, they immediately go into groups. So I'm thinking about the Kolb model, and I'm thinking about how much of it is theory, the article, but I'm thinking about them having an opportunity to reflect, and then I'm thinking about them to have the activity to engage in it. And so you will see that I just based this off of some research that has been very popular. Science folks use this activity. And so I took it in an education class and I modified it, and it's called the circle map. And so here are the actual directions that would be ready for them when they walked in that day. And so again, it's worth 2 or 3 points. They're doing it together in a group. And all I do is, if the chart paper's up there on the wall and they're doing their circles and all of that, I just have them write their names on that one piece of chart paper. So it was easy for me to remember kind of who was here and who was not. Different way of taking attendance. And then later I would just rip those off the wall when I was leaving at night, and that would go into my grade book like that. But this, I hope, will illustrate one of those kind of examples of strategies for success. So this information, you can imagine this at different places. It was in the syllabus, but it was my way of helping students be successful in this class, but also be demonstrating to them that it's accelerated. We don't have time to waste. You are going to walk in the door at 5. My class was 5 till I think it's 8:50, and so at 5 o'clock, as you can see from today, it starts, and here's your activity.